Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reddit Reactions, where real humans react to Reddit comments. Today, I picked the Ask Reddit question. What are some fun things to do on New Year's Eve if you're not a big party goer or you're under 21? I'm interested in this because, well, New Year's Eve is probably one of the biggest drinking days in the year. So if you are legally unable to drink, I'm curious what options are available, right? It's funny because a lot of people think that New Year's Day is one of the worst days to drive, or New Year's Eve is one of the worst days to be on the road, because people think there's tons of drunk drivers, which is true. But apparently, it's actually Thanksgiving, which is the most dangerous holiday in the world. Even though there's not a strong alcohol holiday, or there's not a strong alcohol association with that holiday. And that's just because there's more people on the road in Thanksgiving. As far as I understand, Thanksgiving's when the most people are on the road traveling. But what about Christmas? I don't know. Maybe it's because Thanksgiving's a more weekend thing, whereas Christmas you have like a whole period of time off. So it concentrates the traveling into a smaller period of time. So I've personally heard that Thanksgiving's actually one of the most dangerous days of the year to be in a car. But who knows? Let's see what people have to offer for alternatives to partying or drinking on New Year's Eve. First one is, I'm switching from Farming Simulator 2018 to Farming Simulator 2019. You know, I've heard really good things about the farming sim games. I might actually want to try one of those. If you have tried a farming game, let me know how it is. I've been thinking about it. Next reply by Moose Mumsy, cool username. Check with your local bowling places and see if they have a New Year's Eve special. A few years ago, I went with my family, my teenage son and two of his friends, myself, my early 20s daughter, and her boyfriend. The price included unlimited bowling, pizza, and soda. There was beer available and champagne at midnight for the adults. I had to coax them because they thought it would be lame, but by the time we left at 1 a.m., they were all raving about how much fun they had had. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Also, I like the variety there. Like, teenager, two friends, mom, 20s daughter, and her boyfriend. Like, that's cool. I like that. I feel like that's a group of people that might not relate to each other. So if they had a good time, that's awesome. I love this. What a great idea. Thank you. Not a teenager, but me and my significant other really don't like going to house parties and getting plastered. Watching movies sounds a little depressing, so this will be our plan. Happy New Year. I work at a bowling alley, and I completely agree. We have a few specials going on, and it's gonna be fun. Oh. Wow, okay. Okay, so apparently everybody should just go bowling on New Year's. Came here to say this. As a teen, going bowling with my parents was surprisingly not lame. Always had a great time, and my parents could drink beer. My son and his friends have always spent New Year's with me. We play board games and beat on pots and pans at midnight. My son turned 18 this year, and I expected they would skip it this year and go drink and stuff. But they're planning on being here and playing board games. Huh. Now they're bringing their girlfriends. Wow, it sounds like this is actually a good parent. Like, you know you're a good parent when your kids actually want to stick around. Ooh, epic reply by Kato91CRX. I guess this guy's got some advice for plans on New Year's that don't involve drinking or big parties. This is my core group of friends. We all used to gather at my parents' place since we were around 15 or 16 years old, and that continued through university. It's now been over 20 years that we've been doing this. Things have changed. It's now wives, husbands, and our kids ranging in age 10 to newborns. Some new faces have joined, some have moved on, but the core has kept it going. I recently got a job that takes me out of town every 2 weeks, and this year the schedule falls on me being on shift. My buddy is super bummed I won't be there and keeps messaging that I should have taken time off. Well, that's what everyone except my wife thinks is happening. About to leave the house and surprise them all. Can't wait to see all their faces. I've had this planned for over 3 months. So far, and the person edited it as the event was happening. So here's the first one. So far, a lot of surprised faces, but not everyone has arrived. Oh, now everyone is here. Drinks are flowing, kids are playing, food is plenty, watching a VJC game. As people tickled in, I came around the corner for each group. Everyone had the same stunned look. What the? You're here? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Lots of smiles and laughs. The tradition continues. Happy New Year, everybody. Oh, that's so cool. It's funny because I was just about to go on a rant about how important it is to spend time with people and family. And like, really? Like, okay. People kind of idolize about holidays, especially like dads and stuff who don't spend enough time with their kids. And they'll be like, oh yeah, they'll show up for the birthday, that kind of thing. But really, you should aspire to be a person who spends time with your friends and family all year in exceptional ways, not just on one day of the year. But it's better to just do it one day of the year than not at all. But really, the time we have together, the time we have looking at each other's eyes instead of screens is basically the only time we have to appreciate our life and be alive. So don't take it for granted, okay? You could die tomorrow. This reply by Victor Blimp Muscle. Visit an older relative or give them a call to wish them a happy new year, especially if you didn't get to see them for the holidays. It may just take a few minutes or hours of your time, but it will mean the world to the person that you're visiting or calling. This. 3 years ago on New Year's, my family and I were getting plastered together and remained hungover the next morning. My great-grandfather passed away and none of us had found out until nearly a day later. Even a phone call will close out this year feeling, and you'll definitely not regret it. Yeah, I can proudly say that around these holiday times, I take advantage of the fact that most of my friends have time off, so they're more likely to talk for an hour or two and really get into how their lives are doing. So whenever I know that people have time off from work, I make sure to call them and try and see how they're doing. Really, it's best to call every week or two, really, if you want to actually be supportive. And if you have a relative who you haven't called in years or they're going through something, call them. Seriously, for me, my dad died when I was a kid, right? I was 11 when he died. And after that, it was really lonely because my mom was very sad. Obviously, she'd lost her husband and we didn't really have any friends, so she was alone, and we had each other, but we were both in bad places because we'd just been through death, right? And the best thing someone could have done for us at that point is just kind of regularly reached out. I'm not saying just it makes that big of a difference if someone you know is hurting to just call them on New Year's or something like that, because it doesn't really, to be honest. But if you call them once or twice a month for the next year, that makes a difference. Seriously, that's probably the single most useful and supportive thing somebody could have done. If I really want to be honest and look back at things. Yeah, obviously that didn't happen. Didn't end up getting that support. I ended up spending years and years feeling really lonely and sad and depressed. And there was a lot of negative emotions. But I see now that those experiences have shown me how I can support the people that I love so they don't have to go through what I went through. And calling on holidays is better than nothing, but calling once or twice a month is one of the best things you can do to the people who you love, who you aren't next to. It really is. Just a conversation where you're trying to learn what they're going through, see how they're feeling, get them to open up a bit. Those repeated make huge difference. They really do. All right. Next comment. I went home for a before Christmas celebration, and my parents wanted to stop by and see a very old neighbor that they used to live next to. It was by far the highlight of my trip. He was so happy to see my parents and just visit for a couple hours. He used to build furniture and showed us his old shop and some of the things he built. His wife had died several years ago, and his kids lived far away, so he's pretty much alone. I really enjoyed the old stories about buying homes for $12,000, the end of wood mills, etc. Seriously, call, send a card, or stop by and visit. It's one of the best things you can do, and everyone will leave feeling good. I just started driving for Lyft, and I'm kind of bummed I have plans, so I'm not driving tonight. Yeah, you could earn good money on these days, and also you get a lot of stories. For the last 3 years, I've done the same thing, and around 10 p.m., I find a random person on a game on Xbox, and then I play with them all night and never talk again. That's funny. All right, everybody. If you like this kind of content, please reach out to us if you're interested in making it yourself. We are developing software that presents things on the screen that you can go through at your own pace and explore different subjects and read and react to them while recording the screen to make a YouTube video. This kind of content is much easier to make, so if you're intimidated by being able to make content and try and running a YouTube channel, it's much easier to do it this way. And this is something that you can do, get in the habit of doing, learn a lot about keywords and research and making videos, and then from that point, move forward in the future to edited content once you know what you're doing and have experience. It's a great way to start for people interested in YouTubing. All right, everybody. If that sounds cool to you, please reach out to us. Go to our YouTube channel, click on the About page, click on Business Inquiries, and then get our email address after doing an annoying CAPTCHA code. Then say hello. We want to have a Zoom call with you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.